Assalamu alaikum. This is our lecture number 33 of Managerial Economics, and today our topic is pricing practices. There are some special types of pricing practices which we are going to discuss today, and one of these is price discrimination. We'll concentrate today on price discrimination. We have considered different market structures like competitive market, monopolistic competition, monopoly, and then oligopoly. For all of these market structures, we have seen that as far as the perfect competitors or perfect competition is concerned, the competitors they don't have a control over price because they are price takers. वहाँ पे price जो है उनको given है, which is determined by the market forces, and they are price takers, so they don't have any control over price as such. All they have to do is to determine output. But as far as monopolistic competition is concerned, they have some control over prices, especially if their products are differentiated. Monopolists have a price control, उसका complete price control होता है, और इसी तरह से oligopoly की जो situation है, वहाँ पे भी हमने देखा था that they have a price, they have some market power, and by market power we mean that the monopolist or the oligopoly firm can restrict its output to increase the prices. So price के ऊपर इनका control जो है वो है. जो आज हम जो policy या pricing practice जो discuss करने जा रहे हैं, इसका नाम price discrimination है. We are going to first of all explain the meaning of price discrimination. Then we have to see the conditions under which this pricing policy can be exercised. And then next we have to consider the intensity of price discrimination, that is first degree, second degree, or third degree price discrimination. So there are three types of price discrimination: first degree, second degree, and third degree. Next we are going to consider, we are going to explain the third degree price discrimination, which is the most frequently observed price discrimination pricing policy. And we will explain it with the help of an example, both algebraically and graphically. At the end of the lecture, we will consider the international price discrimination, which is also called dumping. First of all, the meaning of price discrimination. As the name indicates, the price is discriminated. That is, the price of a commodity or the price of a good or service, it is different for different quantities at different timings for different groups of societies in different markets, but these price differences are not justified by the price differences. These prices differences are not justified by the cost differences. अगर cost जो है वो different होगी तो obviously price जो है जो भी monopolist या oligopolist charge करेगा that will be different, but that depends on the cost of the production. But here we are saying that the cost of production is the same. The same product is being offered, let's say, in two different markets, and the prices charged are different. That is not justified. This price differentiation is not justified by the differences in cost. For example, the telecommunication companies like PTCL, it charges different rates for different calls. जैसे कि फर्स्ट जो कॉल्स हैं पॉसिबल है कि मॉर्निंग सेशन जो मॉर्निंग बिजनेस जो टाइमिंग्स हैं देयर द कॉल रेट इज़ एट दैट टाइम द कॉल रेट इज़ डिफरेंट ऑन हॉलीडेज द कॉल रेट इज़ लोअर एंड सिमिलरली इन द इवनिंग आवर्स कॉल रेट इज़ डिफरेंट वहाँ पे टाइमिंग जो है दैट इज़ देयर यू कैन से दैट द मार्केट इज सेगमेंटेड अकॉर्डिंग टू द टाइम देन इट इज़ द क्वांटिटी. If you are buying a book for your personal use, then you have to pay the full price. But if you are purchasing books for your library, that is your university library or college library, you are purchasing maybe 5 copies, 10 copies, or 40 copies for the students, then in that case it will be discounted. You will get a discounted price. And similarly, if यहाँ पे ये जो डिस्काउंट हमें मिला है जो वो है दैट वी आर बाइंग दोज बुक्स इन अ बल्क सो द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द प्राइसेस ऑफ one book and the prices of let's say 20 books, it is due to the quantity of books that have been purchased. सो बल्क क्वांटिटी जब आप परचेज करते हैं तो आपको डिस्काउंट जो है उस पर दिया जाता है। यहाँ पे हम बहुत सी एग्जांपल्स जो हैं रियल लाइफ से ले सकते हैं जहाँ पे प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जो है वो आप देखेंगे कि काफ़ी कॉमन है। स्पेशली द थर्ड डिग्री प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इज़ क्वाइट कॉमन एंड डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स ऑफ सोसाइटीज़ एट डिफरेंट टाइम्स दे आर चार्ज डिफरेंट प्राइसेस। फॉर एग्जांपल जो आपकी पब्लिक यूटिलिटीज़ हैं लाइक वाटर, gas and electricity, they charge different prices for different successive units of the commodity that has been consumed. और इसी तरह से जो यहाँ ये भी फ़र्क हो सकता है that electricity charges for the commercial users is lower than the private users, that is for households. पाकिस्तान में जो है it is the other way around, and in many developing countries it is the households. For households, the electricity charges are lower than for the commercial users. In developed countries, on the other hand, the electricity charges for the commercial users are lower. Why? The reason is that the price elasticity of demand from the commercial users, it is quite elastic. The reason is, क्या उसकी reason है, that they have other substitutes. That is, it's quite possible that if the electricity rates are very high, they can generate their own electricity. But private users or households, domestic users जो हैं उनके पास ये facility नहीं है. आप कह सकते हैं कि UPS या जो electricity converters हैं, they are being used nowadays, but these are used by very few customers because all the customers, they cannot afford it. Therefore, their price elasticity of demand for electricity is quite low. And here, that's why the prices that is charged to the household consumers, they are they are higher as compared to the commercial users. लेकिन जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि पाकिस्तान में या और developing countries जो हैं वहाँ पे commercial users जो हैं they have to pay a higher price than the private users. Similarly, from from different professions like medical profession, legal profession, or even in education, different prices are charged according to the purchasing power of the different classes of the society. जो doctors हैं वो fees charge कर सकते हैं. They can charge a lower fee to the patients who are from a lower income group, and they can charge a higher price or higher doctor's fee from the groups of the society who can pay a higher fee, doctor's fee. Education में भी आप जैसे जानते हैं कि poor students, they are given a fee concession. Either they are fully funded by the university or partially funded by the university. They are sitting in the students are sitting in the same classroom. They are being taught by the same teachers, but their fee is, the price they are paying for their education is different, depending on the class to which, class of the society to which they belong. That is an example of price discrimination. इसी तरह से हम देख सकते हैं कि जो इंटरनेट सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स हैं, they provide students different packages. The same package which is offered to the general public, maybe let's say one of the ISPs, that is internet service provider, they are charging 1500 rupees per month, but for this university or college students or the university teachers, they have a different package, and that is maybe 800 per month. So ये भी price discrimination की एक form है. यहाँ पे why they discriminate the price, that is the oligopoly firm or the monopolist, why do they charge different prices from different groups of society or in different markets or maybe at different timings or for different quantities of the same product? The reason is that they want to maximize, that is they want to enhance their revenues and thereby their profits. So उनका objective जो है वो वही है जो हम अभी तक हमने discuss किया है, that is the objective of the firm is to maximize its profits. So by using this discriminatory pricing policy, they can increase their profits, they can maximize their profits. when different ISPs are charging different packages, they are offering different packages to students and non-students groups. तो उसमें ये है कि उनका डबल एडवांटेज हो जाता है. एक तो ये कि प्रेजेंटली जो भी वो चार्ज कर रहे हैं स्टूडेंट से, डिफरेंट जो उन्होंने प्राइसेस रखी हैं फ्रॉम द स्टूडेंट्स एंड नॉन स्टूडेंट्स कम्युनिटी, they are maximizing their profits by using this policy. The other advantage is that the students now the students are using their package and they are satisfied by their services, so that they become their loyal future customers. And when there are no more students, even then they continue to use their service when they have to pay the full price instead of concession or discount price or concessional price. तो इस तरह से वो उनके लॉयल कस्टमर्स जो हैं फ्यूचर के वो भी बन जाते हैं. दे सो यू कैन सी दैट डिफरेंट पब्लिशर्स और ISPs और जो आपके न्यूज़पेपर्स हैं वो स्टूडेंट्स को जो है कंसेशनल रेट्स पर प्रोवाइड करते हैं अपनी प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज, एंड देयर बाय they can create a class of their future loyal customers. So इस तरह से they want to penetrate the classrooms just to create their future loyal class of future loyal customers. Another example that can be given here is the international price discrimination. As I indicated earlier, that it is called dumping. We will also discuss this. That is, the markets are segmented in this case due to the boundaries of different countries. So, but it's not necessary that the markets are separable or segmented on account of the boundaries of different countries. It could be the same country, and the monopolist or the oligopoly firm can sell its product or service at different prices. Similarly, it's not necessary that they have to sell different prices in different cities. It could be the same city. For instance, in city of Lahore, you must have observed that prices in Ichra market or in Anarkali, they are lower than the prices which are charged to the customers in Liberty market or DHA market. But if there is a difference of quality, then you cannot call it price discrimination, because if the quality of the good is which is being sold at Liberty market or DHA market, then that is not a case of price discrimination, क्योंकि वहाँ पे cost का element जो है वो picture में आ जाएगा. तो जैसा कि हमने पहले ही कहा है कि cost जो है वो अगर cost में different है तो जाहिर है कि price जो है वो different होगी. But here we are saying that these price differences are not justified by the differences in cost. For example, if we are talking about the prices of the books, paperbacks and hardbound, then obviously the price of the hardbound is much higher than the paperback. One reason could be the quality of paper is different, and the cost of producing a hardbound book is much higher than the paperback. So here, if the book is the same, the author is the same, the edition is the same, but still the prices are different. But this is not an example of price discrimination, because here cost is involved. The price of two books is different, that is that of the paperback and the hardbound, because the cost of production is different. Similarly, I have given you the example of education previously. There are students who are given a discount in their fee. That is an example of price discrimination. But if we are considering two students, one is a regular morning session student and the other one is studying under the self-finance scheme. The student who is studying under self-finance scheme, he or she has to pay a much higher fee for a semester. Let's say if for the regular student the fee is 5,000 per semester, and for the student who is studying in self-finance scheme, that is taking evening classes, he might be charged as high as 45,000 per semester, 45,000 rupees per semester. That this difference cannot be considered as a price discrimination, because here again the cost is involved. The teachers who are going to teach in the evening classes, the university has or college has to pay a handsome salary or package to the teacher. Similarly, if the classes are air conditioned, तो इस तरह से यूनिवर्सिटी की जो कॉस्ट है वो इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, और इस वजह से जो सेल्फ फाइनेंस स्कीम पे स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं वो स्टडी कर रहे हैं उनकी फ़ीस ज़्यादा है, लेकिन इसको हम अगेन जैसे मैंने पहले कहा, दिस कैन नॉट बी कंसिडर्ड एज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, क्योंकि वहाँ पे भी टीचर्स अगर सेम भी है, कोर्सेज भी सेम है, लेकिन जो एजुकेशन की प्राइस है दैट इज़ डिफरेंट, बट हियर अगेन एज आई सेड द कॉस्ट एलिमेंट इज़ इन्वॉल्व्ड. सो इस तरह से जो हमने अभी तक इसका जो डिफ़ाइन किया है और इसके लिए जो डिफरेंट कंडीशंस हमने बताई हैं, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट दीज प्राइस डिफरेंसेस दैट इज़ ड्यू टू डिफरेंस इन क्वांटिटी, टाइमिंग और डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी और डिफरेंट मार्केट्स में जो डिफरेंट प्राइसेस चार्ज की जाती हैं, these price differences, they are not justified by cost differences. Well, the conditions under which this policy, that is the discriminatory pricing policy, can be adopted or exercised, there are certain conditions. First of the condition is that the monopolist or the oligopoly firm, they have some power, market power, that is they have some control over the prices. जैसे मैंने पहले आपसे कहा, ये पहली कंडीशन है, और क्योंकि अगर उनके पास ये पावर नहीं होगी तो वो डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी प्राइसिंग पॉलिसी जो है उसको अडॉप्ट नहीं कर सकते. सो दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट कंडीशन, दैट दे हैव सम कंट्रोल ओवर द प्राइसेस. द सेकंड कंडीशन इज़ दैट इफ़ द मोनोपोलिस्ट इज़ सेलिंग इन टू डिफरेंट मार्केट्स, तो उसमें जो डिफरेंट दोनों मार्केट्स हैं, देयर प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड शुड बी डिफरेंट, because if the price elasticity of demand is the same in the two markets, he or she will not be able to discriminate prices in the two markets. The third condition is that the markets are separable. That is, they can be segmented. As I said earlier, that in case of international price discrimination, the markets are naturally segmented due to the boundaries of different countries. But if we have said that a monopolist or an oligopoly firm can sell the same product for different prices in two markets in the same city, तो वहाँ पे market जो है वो segment होनी चाहिए. Market must be separable in the sense कि इस तरह नहीं होना चाहिए कि अगर एक market में कम prices हैं तो वहाँ से लोग जो हैं वो lower prices पे उसको ख़रीद के तो उसको जाके रीसेल कर दें दूसरी मार्केट में. तो इस तरह से उसका मकसद जो है, दैट इज़ द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द फर्म, दैट विल बी हार्म्ड. सो दिस इज़ द थर्ड कंडीशन, दैट द मार्केट्स आर सेपरेबल एज फार एज डिफरेंट क्वांटिटीज़ आर कंसर्न्ड or different types of users are concerned. For instance, in case of electricity, different types of meters are used for commercial users and for the private users, and in this way the market is segmented. Similarly, if the students are charged a lower price for magazines or books, then they are segmented. How can they segment or separate them from the general public? वो उनका आईडी वगैरह जो है, स्टूडेंट आईडी चेक कर सकते हैं, और इस तरह से वो भी जो मार्केट है वो सेपरेबल हो जाती है. इस तरह से जो ये तीन कंडीशंस हैं, सो दीज थ्री कंडीशंस मस्ट बी सेटिस्फाइड इन ऑर्डर फॉर अ मोनोपोलिस्ट और an oligopoly firm to charge different prices at different timings for different quantities of the same product or for different groups of the society. Next, we are going to consider different types of price discrimination. As I said, there are three types of price discrimination: first degree price discrimination, second degree price discrimination, and third degree price discrimination. You can see the definitions on your screen. The first degree creates different prices for each customer, that is, maximum profits are earned in this case. Second degree gives quantity discounts, and third degree assigns different prices by customers' age, gender, income, location, etc. One of our earlier lectures, we have defined consumer surplus. On screen, you can see the diagram, and we can see the consumer surplus lies. It is under the demand curve above the price line. in different types of price discrimination, we'll see how this consumer surplus is affected. As far as the first degree price discrimination is concerned, in this case, each unit is sold at the highest possible price. Firm extracts all of the consumer surplus and firm maximizes total revenue and profit from any quantity sold. First degree price discrimination, each customer, they can charge a different price depending on the purchasing power of the customer. For example, if a customer is willing to purchase a pair of shoe, which is let's say it's उसका जो है favorite brand है, and he is willing to pay 1,000 rupees for that pair of shoe, and he is willing to pay for the same pair of shoe, that is the second pair of shoe, only 750 rupees. And if the monopolist, knowing this, monopolist might charge 1,000 rupees for the first pair of shoes and 750 rupees for the second pair of shoes. In this way, he will be extracting all of this consumer surplus by using a first degree price discrimination. एक यूनिट जो था उसके लिए वो फर्स्ट यूनिट के लिए 1,000 रुपीस देने के लिए तैयार था, लेकिन सेकंड यूनिट के लिए he was not willing to pay 1,000 rupees. So knowing this, the monopolist will offer different prices for different units, that is different successive units. For the first unit, the price is higher. For the second unit, the price is lower, so that the consumer is attracted, and in this way, the entire consumer surplus of this consumer is extracted by the monopolist. Similarly, we can consider the entire market. वहाँ पे यहाँ पे जो है different prices, different customers के लिए जो हैं वो होंगी, और इस तरह से जो consumer surplus है वो मैंने जैसे पहले कहा, it will be extracted by the monopolist. इसमें हम ये देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे ये जो प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन पॉलिसी है ये इतनी ज़्यादा कॉमन नहीं है, जितनी कि मैंने पहले कहा कि थर्ड डिग्री प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जो है वो सबसे ज़्यादा कॉमन है. सेकंड डिग्री प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जो है वो भी कॉमन है. फॉर एग्जांपल जो पब्लिक आपके यूटिलिटीज़ हैं, दैट इज़ गैस कंपनीज, वाटर जैसे वासा है, और इसी तरह से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जैसे लाहौर के शहर के लिए लेस्को है. तो इनके जो बिल्स हैं अगर आप उनको देखें, यू विल सी दैट फॉर डिफरेंट क्वांटिटीज़ द रेट इज़ डिफरेंट. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ़ माय इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल फॉर द करंट मंथ is if I look at it and I see and I observe that 770 units of electricity has been consumed, then from my LESCO bill I have here prepared a table of different rates which are charged at different consecutive units. You can see on your screen that for the total units consumed by the customer, और मैंने जैसे कहा कि अगर ये मेरा बिल है तो 770 यूनिट्स अगर मैंने इस मंथ में, करंट मंथ में कंज्यूम किए हैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द अदर कॉस्ट लाइक फ्यूल एडजस्टमेंट कॉस्ट और पीटीवी की जो फीस इसमें उन्होंने इंक्लूड की होती है, और या मीटर बिल जो है, मीटर का एक रेंट है, उसके अलावा एज फार एज द कॉस्ट ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज कंसर्न्ड, this is how it is charged, and this is an example of price discrimination. The total units consumed are 770 units. The first 100 units, the rate is 4.20 rupees per unit. For the next 200 units, the rate is 6.34 rupees per unit. And for the next 400 units, the rate is 10.24 rupees per unit. For the units above 700, जैसे कि मैंने कहा that the total units consumed for this current month are 770. So above 700 units, the rate is 12.77 rupees per unit. Since I have consumed 770, that is which is an excess over the 700 units. Therefore, the last 70 units are charged. Their rate is 12.77 rupees per unit. So इसको वो इस तरह से calculate जो है करेंगे. That is for the first 100 units, then for the second, then for the next 200 units, next 400 units, and the units which falls in the category which are above the 700 units. First 700 units, they charge different rates. This is an example of price discrimination. और इस तरह से हम जितने भी और भी हमारे पब्लिक यूटिलिटीज़ की कंपनीज़ हैं, लाइक जो वाटर प्रोवाइड करते हैं या गैस प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वहाँ पे भी आप देख सकते हैं। अगर आप अपने बिल्स को देखें तो आपको पता चलेगा कि प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जो है वहाँ पे यूज़ हो रही होती है। फॉर डिफरेंट सक्सेसिव यूनिट्स द रेट्स आर डिफरेंट. This is an example of second degree price discrimination. In this case, not all, but part of the consumer's surplus is extracted from the consumers. And as I said, that this is not as common as the third degree price discrimination, but in many cases you will see that this is being observed. Next is the third degree price discrimination. In this case, as I said earlier, that this is the most frequently observed price discriminatory policy which is adopted by the monopolist or the oligopoly firm. In this case, if the firm is charging different prices from two different markets, let's say market 1 and market 2 and market 1, तो इसमें जो इनके as far as the behavioral assumption is concerned, that is the same. That is, the firm has to adopt the policy or the assumption that it will maximize its profits when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. But since in this case we have two markets, therefore there will be two marginal revenue curves, that is MR1 and MR2. And the rule is that marginal revenue 1 is equal to marginal revenue 2, and that should be equal to the marginal cost of production. That is, the firm will charge prices, different prices, in such a way that in the that the two markets, that the revenues, marginal revenues from the two markets are equal, and they are also equal to the marginal cost of production. If marginal revenue MR1 is greater than MR2, in that case it will reallocate because it is earning more from the first market. Therefore it will इसकी जो output है उसको वो reallocate करेंगे और transfer कर देंगे market 1 में, पहले से ज़्यादा उसको sale करेंगे. If on the other hand MR1 is less than MR2, in that case the firm will reallocate its output and it will sell more in market 2 than in market 1. How this is possible? The rule is that the firm will charge a higher price in the market where the price elasticity is low and a lower price in the market where the price elasticity is high. So इसमें जो rule use होगा, it is the same, that is, the firm has to equate the marginal revenue to the marginal cost, but since here the prices, different prices are charged in different markets, that is in market 1 and in market 2. So the firm has to equate MR1 to MR2, and this should be also equal to the marginal cost of the firm. And how the prices are differentiated, that will depend on the price elasticity of demand. जिस market में price elasticity जो है वो ज़्यादा है, वहाँ पे वो कम price charge करेगा, और जहाँ पे जो elasticity है वो कम है, वहाँ पे वो ज़्यादा price charge करेगा. और for this purpose we are going to explain this third degree price discrimination with the help of an example. Assuming that there is an ABC Art Institute which and it has arranged a 1 or 2 week festival where different events like exhibition, art exhibitions, dramas, theaters, movies, वो जो हैं वो दिखाए जाएंगे. और इसके लिए जनरल पब्लिक जो है, the firm has two choices. Either it will charge the same prices from all the groups of the society, or it can charge different prices from the students and non-students. Assuming that it is a university town जिसमें कि बहुत से university के students जो हैं thousands में रह रहे हैं. In order to attract those students, it's possible that the Art Institute will charge a lower price to the students. जो tickets हैं for each event, उसमें जो students हैं उनको discount दिया जाएगा, तो ज़ाहिर है कि ज़्यादा students attract होंगे और वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा tickets जो हैं उनको purchase करेंगे. तो इसके लिए हमने जो example ली है वो आप screen पे देख सकते हैं. Assuming that this institute has conducted a market survey and it has collected its demand relations for the students community and non-students community, as you can see on your screen. So यहाँ पे आप screen पे देख सकते हैं that we have the demand function for the general public and the demand function from the students. The public demand is given as PP. P stands for public. This is equal to 225 minus 0.005 Q. And the student demands, on the other hand, P, it is given by the price function, which is labeled as PS. S stands for the students, and it is 125 minus 0.00125 Q. Since the price functions are given, that is the average revenue function for both the markets, that is the student market and non-student markets, are given, we can easily find the total revenue for each market simply by multiplying by their respective quantities. So once we multiply the price function, that is the average revenue, by Q, we get the total revenue for each market, and then we can easily find the marginal revenue of these markets by differentiating the total revenue with respect to their quantities. That is, respectively, हम इसको differentiate करेंगे in public market with respect to QP and in the students market with respect to QS, so that we get the marginal revenue MRP, which is equal to 225 minus 0.01 QP. And for the students community, the students market, the marginal revenue MRS, that is for students, is equal to 125 minus 0.0025 QS. The total cost of the Art Institute is given by the total cost function, and then differentiating this with respect to Q, we get the marginal cost function. As I said earlier, that cost of production, as far as the cost of production is concerned, in this case the production is the or the output is the sale of the tickets. In both cases, if the firm or this institute adopts the policy of price discrimination, or it does not adopt the policy of price discrimination, in both of these cases the cost will remain the same, because these differences in prices, which are called price discrimination, they are not justified by cost. So the cost it remains the same, and in this case, as you can see on your screen, that the total cost function is given, and when we differentiate it with respect to Q, we get marginal cost, which is equal to $25, and it is a constant. Since marginal cost is a constant, that is, it does not involve any term which involves Q. Therefore, graphically, this will be a horizontal straight line. As I said earlier, that the firm has to equate its marginal revenues in each market to its marginal cost. Now, equating MRP to MC and solving for Q, we get Q equal to 20,000. That is, 20,000 tickets are sold. As far as general public is concerned, वो 20,000 tickets जो हैं लेंगे, और ये किस price पे होगा? We will substitute this quantity which is purchased by public, that is 20,000, into our demand function, and we get the price. That is, the price is $125 per event. That is per function. Maybe it could be an exhibition, आर्ट एग्जीबिशन है या ड्रामा है या थिएटर है. प्राइस जो है एक इवेंट के लिए $125 है. Now, looking at the students market, we can see that here, when we equate the marginal revenue for students MRS to MC, we get the quantity which is purchased is 40,000. 40,000 tickets जो है students जो हैं वो इस प्राइस पे परचेज कर रहे हैं, और जो प्राइस है जब हम 40,000 को सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे इन प्राइस फंक्शन, वी गेट दैट द प्राइस इज ओनली $75 per event or per function. Whereas for the general public, the price of one ticket is $125, but for the students the price is $75. So the students are, since the price is lower for the students, their sale of the tickets is 40,000 students इसको purchase करेंगे, और general public जो है वो 20,000 purchase करेंगी, क्योंकि उनकी जो price है ticket की काफ़ी difference है उसमें, काफ़ी उनकी price जो है that is higher. Now this ABC Arts Council, its total operating surplus, that is profit by using this price discrimination policy, we can calculate it by, as we know, that total profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. But in this case, there are two total revenues for the students and for non-students, that is TRP for the public and TRS for the students. Adding these two and then subtracting the total cost from it, we get that the total profit or the maximum profit that this firm or this art institute will earn by using this price discrimination policy is $2.5 million. Here we have seen that with price discrimination, the profit which is maximized by the firm is $2.5 million. Let's see if the firm decides not to introduce different prices, that is a discriminatory pricing policy, but instead it charges the same uniform price from all the groups of the society, that is students and non-students. In that case, obviously the market demand curve or the firm face karegi demand curve, that will be a total of the students demand curve plus the general public demand curve. So we add these two demand functions and we get here the total demand, which is denoted by QT, and this is equal to QP plus QS, that is जो public demand थी और students की जो demand थी, इनको जब हम add करेंगे, we get the total demand which is equal to 145,000 minus 1000 P. And in terms of price as a function, that is, in order to find the price function, we invert this and we get P equal to 145 minus 0.001 Q. So now we have calculated our price function, that is, we have the average revenue function, we multiply it by Q and get the total revenue. And then by differentiating this total revenue with respect to Q, we get the marginal revenue, and ultimately we have to equate marginal revenue with marginal cost. So marginal revenue or marginal cost को जब हम equate करेंगे, we get the result. First we calculate the marginal revenue, which is equal to 145 minus 0.002 Q, and now equating this marginal revenue function to our marginal cost function, we get the result which is equal to 60,000 Q. Here you can see that Q is equal to 60,000. With price discrimination, we have seen that the total number of tickets sold were 60,000. वहाँ पे भी 60,000 थी जो total number of tickets जो sale हुई है, और यहाँ पे भी हमारे पास quantity जो है, इस में जो output है, which is in this case, in this particular case, this output is the number of tickets sold. It is the same, that is 60,000 tickets are being sold. Why? The reason is that we are saying that the cost of production will remain the same. That is, the cost which is incurred by this arts institute, it remains the same, whether it uses the price discrimination or without price discrimination. अगर इसकी pricing policy जो है price discriminatory है या non discriminatory है, uniform price अगर ये charge करते हैं, तो इनकी जो cost है that remains the same. Therefore we have seen here, we can observe that the number of tickets sold is the same. With price discrimination, it was 60,000 where the allocation between the two segments of the society or two groups of the society, that is for the students and the non-students, it was for 40,000 plus 20,000, that is 60,000. And now again we have seen that here the total number of tickets sold is the same, that is 60,000. And at which price? For this we will substitute this 60,000 into our price function and get the price which is $85. This is the price which is charged to all the public, that is to all the groups, including both the students community and the non-students community. So in this case, if the firm decides to charge a single uniform price, तो उसमें यहाँ पे हम compare करेंगे what will be the maximum profit when it is using price discrimination and when it is not using price discrimination. In this case, the price is $85 and the number of tickets sold at this price is 60,000. Whereas in the case of price discrimination, we have seen that the number of tickets sold was there too, the number of tickets sold was the same, that is 60,000. but the prices in different markets, that is for different groups of society, students and non-students, they were different. For students, it was $75 per ticket per event, and for non-students, it was $125 per event. वहाँ पे प्राइस जो थी हायर थी, लेकिन मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट भी हमने कैलकुलेट किया था और दैट वाज इक्वल टू $2.5 million. Let's see what will be the maximum profit when this policy is adopted, that is when price discrimination is not there. Now here on screen you can see that we have here QP and QS. We substitute this price $85 and we see that when the price of the ticket is $85 per function or event, 28,000 tickets will be sold as far as the general public is concerned. And for the students community, since the price is now higher, previously it was $75, but now it is $85. So now instead of 40,000 students, only 32,000 students will purchase this ticket. So जैसा कि हमने देखा कि number of tickets sold remain the same, but the price is now different, and the price जो है वो uniform price है और सबसे एक ही price charge कर रहे हैं. What will be the maximum profit in this case for the firm? Again, it is the total profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost, and the total revenue, since we have our price functions, हमसे price function जो है price हमारी $85 है और जो Q है, that is the quantity sold of the ticket is 60,000. By multiplying these, we get the total revenue, and then we subtract from it the total cost, and we get $2.1 million. So the maximum profit that the firm, or this in this case this art institute, can earn is $2.1 million, while previously with discrimination we have seen that the profit was much higher. It was equal to $2.5 million. We have explained third degree price discrimination with the help of an algebraic example. By taking the same example, now we will present it graphically. On your screen you can see the graph. It has three panels, panel A, B and C. In panel A you can see that the public demand relations and marginal revenues are given, while in the second panel, that is panel B, the demand function and marginal revenue function for students is drawn. And in the third one, which is panel C, here you can see that we have here the horizontal summation of the two demand curves, and we have the total demand curve which is faced by this firm, which is an art institute. And similarly we have computed the marginal revenues by taking the summation of MRP and MRS, which is shown as MRP plus S. तो वो आप पैनल सी में देख सकते हैं. और यहाँ पे marginal cost है, as we have explained earlier, that the marginal cost remains the same, that is $25. If we look at these panels at $25, यहाँ पे जो marginal cost है, that is a constant. As I said earlier, since it is a constant, therefore graphically it will be shown as a horizontal straight line. So when we draw a horizontal straight line, इस line को अगर हम extend करते हैं towards panel B and panel A, then we can see that at this marginal cost, जो panel C है वहाँ पे marginal revenue और marginal cost जो हैं, they are equated at the output. जो output हमारी इस case में है, that is 60,000, that is the number of units, the number of tickets sold, and in this case they are 60,000 at the price of $85. पॉलिसी अगर इख्तियार नहीं की जाती तो उस सूरत में जो प्राइस होगी, दैट इज़ अ सिंगल प्राइस, अ सिंगल यूनिफॉर्म प्राइस, दैट इज़ $85. ये आप पैनल सी में देख सकते हैं. But if institute decides to use or to adopt this discriminatory pricing policy, in that case you can see that we extend the line, we extend this marginal cost line to panel B and then to panel C, and we can see that when the marginal cost is $25, it intersects the marginal revenue in panel B for the students community. The number of tickets sold is 40,000 and the price which is charged from the students is $75, जो कि आप देख सकते हैं screen पर. And similarly in panel A you can see that when the marginal cost is the same, that is $25, and it intersects the marginal revenue for the general public, MRP, at the output level, that is the number of tickets sold. In this case is the output, and that is 20,000. जो कि हमने, which is the same that we have already found algebraically, that is at different prices when $125, and in this case you can see that in panel A that price charged to the public is $125 per ticket per event, and for this price the number of tickets sold is 20,000, and the number of tickets sold for the students community when they are charged only $75 per ticket per event, that is 40,000. Here you can see that MR1 is equal to MR2 is equal to marginal cost, and this will depend how much is to be charged and in one market and the other market. That will depend on the price elasticity of demand in the two markets. As you can see clearly, आप visualize कर सकते हैं in panel A the price elasticity of demand for the general public is, जैसे कि shape से आप देख सकते हैं, it is lower than for the students demand curve. The students demand curve is flatter, whereas the public demand curve is relatively steeper, showing that elasticity of demand is low as far as general public is concerned, and the elasticity of demand for purchasing these tickets is quite high as when we compare these two markets. I have already said that the rule here is that a lower price will be charged to the market where the price elasticity is high, and a higher price will be charged to the market in the market where the price elasticity is comparatively lower. So in this case we can see that price elasticity of demand from the general public, it is lower than the price elasticity of demand for these tickets as we compare it with the students community. So in this case obviously the allocation is according to the elasticities of demand, और यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं कि marginal revenue 1 is equal to marginal revenue 2, or we have used here S and P for public, S for students, so MRS is equal to MRP, and that is equal to marginal cost, which is $25. So in this way, this art institute will be able to discriminate its prices and thereby raising its revenues and profits by using this price discrimination policy. और इस तरह से हमने इसको कंपेयर किया है कि विद डिस्क्रिमिनेशन क्या सिचुएशन होगी और विदाउट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जो है उसके मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट्स क्या होंगे. Now, at the end, as I said earlier, that we have to consider the international price discrimination. In case of international price discrimination, different prices are charged in domestic markets and the foreign market. अब अगर हम पाकिस्तान को ले रहे हैं तो जो भी पाकिस्तान के प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं वो पाकिस्तान में जो प्राइसेस चार्ज कर रहे हैं और domestic prices they are lower, their domestic prices are higher than the foreign prices. इसमें obviously we have to consider the transportation cost. Excluding the transportation cost, the prices should be the same for the similar product. But if the firm or a monopolist firm or an oligopoly firm decides to charge lower prices in the foreign market, that is called international price discrimination, or commonly it is known as dumping. Now, in economics, the price discrimination, as far as this concept of price discrimination is concerned, it has no negative connotation as such. That is, whether it is harmful for the society or beneficial to the society, it is very difficult to assess it. In our example, we have seen that one group, that is a group of students with price discrimination, students will have a benefit while the general public is priced out from the market because they are being charged a higher prices for the same events. तो इसलिए वो जो वहाँ पे हमने देखा कि अगर हम इसका कॉस्ट ऑफ बेनिफिट एनालिसिस करेंगे तो ये बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट होगा दैट whether this price discriminatory policy it is beneficial for the society as a whole or it is not beneficial for the society as a whole, because there the winners there are in different cases there are different winners. In this case the winners are the students if price is discriminated, because in that case they have to pay lower prices for the tickets. And also the institute itself, the arts institute itself, is earning higher profits when it is discriminating prices. So they are also the winners, but the losers are the public, the general public, who have to pay a higher price in case of price discrimination. So इसको अगर हम इसका जो benefit है society को या जो इसका harm है, benefit goes to the students and to the art institute, but the losers in this case are the general public. So it is very difficult to determine or to assess the exact benefit to the society on the whole or the exact harm to the society as a whole. But in any case, in economics, it has, as far as price discrimination is concerned, it has no negative connotation. But if we look at it from the international perspective, it has a negative connotation, as we can see that earlier in GATT and now in WTO, that is the World Trade Organization, there is a separate agreement on dumping that is called anti-dumping practices ADP, जो कि different countries के दरमियान बहुत ज़्यादा इस पे disputes होते हैं. Different countries charge different countries for dumping, and a product is considered to be dumped into another market when the export price is lower than the domestic price for the similar product. And similarly, a product is considered to be dumped when the price, the export price is, it is lower than the cost of production. So इस तरह से जो allegations हैं different countries जो हैं वो allegations एक दूसरे पे dumping की लगाते हैं, and the WTO, according to the WTO, this ADP जो agreement है इस पे, they are allowed to levy anti-dumping duties. इस तरह से पाकिस्तान का जो टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर है, विच इज़ द मेन एक्सपोर्टिंग सेक्टर, उसमें काफ़ी एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटीज़ हम पे भी कई दफ़ा जो है वो चार्ज की गई हैं, हम पे भी डंपिंग के चार्जेस आए हैं. और इसका दिस प्रोसीजर ऑफ डंपिंग एंड एंटी डंपिंग टू प्रूव दैट दिस इज़ नॉट डंपिंग, दिस प्रोसीजर इज़ क्वाइट लेंथी एंड कॉस्टली, सो इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट फॉर अ डेवलपिंग कंट्री टू प्रूव दिस. लेकिन काफ़ी दफ़ा हम लोगों ने इसको जो पाकिस्तान है उसने विन की है सिचुएशन. जैसे यूएसए ने एलिगेशन लगाया था डिफरेंट जो हमारी कमोडिटीज़ हैं, डिफरेंट हमारे जो सेगमेंट्स हैं टेक्सटाइल्स के, लाइक टॉवल्स, अदर मेडअप्स, लाइक इसमें टॉवल्स हैं, बेड लिनन है और दूसरे जो मेडअप्स हैं और अनब्लीच्ड कॉटन है, यहाँ पे जो है डंपिंग के चार्जेस आए थे और उनको पाकिस्तान ने फेस किया, टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर ने. और इस तरह से कई दफ़ा हम लोग जो हैं इसमें हमने international जो courts हैं उसमें win किया. So this is what is the picture of international price discrimination, which is called dumping. And with this we come to an end of this session, and we'll continue with our topic, that is pricing practices, in our next lecture. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.